Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just Another 20-something with me, Marissa. Okay, so today's episode I am excited about. Who knew? So this is going to be my second addition to my movie review section of my podcast. If you guys haven't already listened, I have a movie review. It is my favorite Christmas movie. It's like way back in the archives now, I guess. Back in December, I made a movie review on my favorite Christmas movie, which you would think I'd remember the name, but now I don't. What is that called? It's like something about the ghost. Wow, here's my favorite Christmas movie. I don't know the name of it. Well, go back and look at it. You'll know. Maybe I should do that. The Spirit of Christmas. Oh my God, you would think I would know that. Oh my God. I'm embarrassed on how long that took me to remember. The Spirit of Christmas. So if you haven't listened to that movie review, go listen to that. But today's is kind of fun. I'm mixing a bunch of stuff together. So we're going to be talking about pop culture, sort of, because this movie is very popular right now. And it's a movie review. And yeah. Okay, I guess it's two things that I'm mixing together. Really not that crazy. But today we are going to be talking about To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Always and Forever, the third movie of this entire series. And so I kind of wanted to talk about, not too much, obviously, but the first and the second movie before we get into the third movie. So I loved the first movie, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I forget when that came out now. I want to say... Oh my gosh. I have no idea. Let's also look that up. Okay, so the first one came out in 2018. I'm pretty sure the second one came out in 2019. And then this one's 2021. Oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, so, Jesus, I'm really prepared. Okay, so the first To All the Boys I've Loved Before came out in 2018, then the second one came out in 2020, and then the last one came out in 2021. So, the first movie in 2018, I loved that movie. It was so good. I've never read any of the books, so I'm truly just going off of what the movie vibe is. And I loved the first one. That was the first time we really ever saw Noah Centineo. And let me just tell you, I was one of those girls that fell in love with Noah Centineo. I was like, whoa, he's cute. Who is he? Peter Kavinsky? Hello. That quickly went away because obviously, as we all know, Noah Centineo started to be in a lot of different movies, a lot of Netflix originals, and just crappy, bad acting. He's so annoying and cringy. I don't like him anymore. And, when the second movie came out, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be different because, when he plays Peter Kavinsky, he's like different. He's not the same Noah Centineo. The second movie, he wasn't as bad. Still not my favorite. In the second movie, obviously, that plot is the new boy comes in, which, again, now I'm forgetting his name. Wow, why am I talking about a movie that I clearly know nothing about? The second movie, it's, oh, for the love of God. Who are you? What's your name? John Ambrose. Oh my God. This is getting embarrassing. Okay, so in the second movie, John Ambrose comes around. After Laura Jean and Peter Kavinsky have been dating, since the first movie, which again, good movie. Watch the first one if you want to watch any of these. The first one you will like. The second one is not too terrible, but not amazing. But John Ambrose just makes it 10 times better because I am in love with Jordan Fisher. I've been obsessed with him since Liv and Maddie. Also, okay, embarrassing to say, but I watched Liv and Maddie. Yep, I did that. I think I probably watched it in high school. I think that's the time it was airing, and I fell in love with him, and I've been obsessed with him ever since. He's so incredibly talented, and he should have dated Laura Jean. They were way more compatible. By this point, Noah Centineo was giving me the creeps, and so I was like, yeah, let's upgrade. But, that doesn't happen. She picks Peter Kavinsky because they're meant to be, I guess. So anyway, so that leads us to the third movie, the one that we are going to be talking about today. So if you don't already know some clips about this movie, because I have been seeing a ton of little clips popping up on my TikTok about this movie, and it was all cringy. Like, every comment has been like, oh my god, this movie is not it. Like, it's not as good as the first one, not even really even as good as the second one, and the second one wasn't even that good. So I was like, oh boy, looks like I'm gonna have to watch this. I've already watched the first two, and I have to complete the series. And so I did see a TikTok that said that the last two movies were directed by men, while the first one was directed by a woman. And let me just say, you can tell. You can freaking tell, because this movie is so cringy and so annoying. I have never, okay, and I don't want to say I hate this movie, because I don't, but it's like, it's really not great. It's not my favorite at all. Like, I almost want to rewatch the first one just to remember that it is like a cute story. But anyway, so let's just get into it. Let's just start from the beginning. So the beginning of the movie, it starts off with Laura Jean on spring break in Seoul, Korea, which that's super cool. And Peter is at home, and he's about to go on like a visit to Stanford, because he got into Stanford and he's going to do a college visit after he's already got in, which doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. So they're already missing each other on this 2-week spring break. Or actually, is it only one? I don't remember. But either way, they're texting each other every 2 seconds, sending letters, which doesn't even make sense if you're only there for a week. Why would you send a letter? It wouldn't even get there. But anyway, so they're just obsessed with each other. And that's going to be the theme of this entire movie, is that they are obsessed with each other. They can't go like 2 minutes without talking to each other. And oh my god, it drives me insane. Insane. So Laura Jean kind of talks, she does her little narration, and she talks about how her and Peter have this dream of going to Stanford together. And, they're going to go to the same college. She's going to do English Lit. He's going to, I don't even know if they said. He's going to do something. And then, they're going to get married. They're going to have kids. They're going to live together. Well, obviously. No, they're going to actually have separate houses with their kids and marriage. Obviously, they get a home. She becomes a book writer. Oh my god, an author. Oh my god. My brain malfunctioning. She's becoming an author. Everything's going great. And this is all going to happen if they go to the same college together. So obviously, and I will go into it later, but this isn't a great start to the movie. Like, I'm already like, oh my god, you are not going to follow this guy to college just so you could be together, and that's like all you care about? Oh, but it gets worse. So anyway, so while this is all kind of happening, I'm literally just going off of my notes right now. I've noticed that the acting just seems really not great. Like, there's a lot of times where Peter, okay. So, like, the funny clips that I've been seeing on TikTok have been of, like, exclusively Noah Centineo making weird faces and being weird. And it's true. He's just so weird in this movie. He makes so many creepy facial expressions that I'm like, huh? And there's, like, this one part where, so they come home from spring break, and he's like, welcome home. And they're like, yay. And they're, like, doing face masks together, like a sheet face mask. And he rips off the face mask and then acts like it hurt him. like if it was like the charcoal peel mask where, like if you've seen videos of people putting on that mask and they rip it off and it's like stinging, burning, hurting. No, this is a sheet mask that takes like zero effort to take off. And he's like, ah. And I'm like, huh? What? But probably the male director is like, oh yeah, that seems about right. That's what masks do, right? No. Anyway, minor detail, but I was just like, what? What is happening? Anyway, so the acting seems very and I get the vibe through the entire movie that I'm going to be like, But anyway, so they come back from spring break. They're all lovey-dovey. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been apart for a week. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I can't get over how annoying they are. And so they're patiently waiting for Laura Jean to get an acceptance letter from Stanford so then they can start their lives of being together forever. Laura Jean's first boyfriend in high school. Oh, I can't wait for them to be together forever. So, that's happening. While that's happening, they're also getting ready for prom. So everyone's doing promposals. There's like a bunch of background character stuff that I could tell you about, but honestly, I just couldn't care enough. I don't care about the supporting people. Like, her friend is nice. I mean, she's like actually kind of funny compared to everyone else in the show, or the movie, but I don't really care about her storyline. Sorry. And then the mean girl, like the girl who dated Peter Kavinsky in the first movie. She was like terrible, used to be friends with Laura Jean, but now isn't, like hates her guts for some reason. I don't know. Don't like her. She apparently is nice. And her and Laura Jean are friends now. And I'm trying to remember what happened in the second movie because I remember that they were kind of getting on better terms, and so maybe that's what this is, but they're just like best friends now. Like Laura Jean's like, oh hey Jen, how's it going? And Jen's like, oh my God, love you girl. It's like, wait a minute, whoa, I thought you guys hated each other. That doesn't just like go away. And Jen was the worst in the first movie, and I think she was still kind of annoying in the second movie. Anyway, very fishy indeed. So another plot point that I don't really care about, but apparently is kind of big, is the dad is getting married to the woman from the last movie, the second one, which again, I don't really remember. So that's always good. She's cute though. She seems nice and he deserves someone happy. So that is I'm happy for him. But again, I don't really care. There's also another part of the movie where Peter Kavinsky talks to his dad, who, if you remember from the first one, like left them and just like abandoned them and they never talked to him again. So I was very confused that all of a sudden the dad is just around because I thought he like literally left. And like, because there's no mention of him in the second one, but then all of a sudden in this one, since Peter's getting ready for college, he's like, oh hey, what's up, you want to talk? And Peter's like, no. Like literally no, that's the last thing I want to do. Anyway, let's get back to our main lovebirds. So they're patiently awaiting for Laura Jean to get into Stanford. Well, guess what? She doesn't get in. I know this is extremely shocking. I never would have pictured this to happen. So she doesn't get in to Stanford. What are they going to do? How is she going to move forward with this relationship? Because if they don't go to the same college, they're probably breaking up, which is actually a fair judgment. That's a fair assessment. I cannot tell you one couple that I know who went to different colleges and are still together from my high school. In fact, I think there is only one couple that is still together from high school and they went to the same college. And I think he actually transferred to that college. So they tried to do that long distance for like 2 seconds and they were like, nah, let's just give up on our dreams and be together. But, whatever, that sounds good. Sounds like a good idea. Oh boy, I think I'm going to be a little bitter this episode. Let me just preface by saying I am a romantic. I am. And I know I'm coming off as no, I am not. And all my friends are probably like, no, you're not. But I am. I really am. I do love love. And there's so many things that I want in my life that are very stereotypical romantic. But at the same time, I do have this huge thing in the back of my mind that's like, that is unrealistic. Like, let's jump back into reality real quick. What are we doing? And so throughout this entire movie, I'm kind of like that. Like, of course, there's a part of me that's like, ah, that's amazing for you guys. Beating the odds. And then the biggest part of me is like, no, you're actually so annoying and I don't like you at all. So just keep that in mind. That's what my mindset is. But anyway, okay, so Lara Jean doesn't get into Stanford. Oh no. This is where I wrote down in my notes, Lara Jean is kind of annoying, LMAO, and dramatic. She is actually really annoying in this movie because all she can talk about is her life with Peter Kavinsky. And let me just fucking tell you, dude, this white guy, like, who cares? Literally, who cares? I cannot imagine. Okay, let me actually re-say that because I was about to say I can't imagine being 17 and being this obsessed. Yes, I can because I was. There was a point in my 17-year-old life where all I thought of was love and relationships, and that was the biggest thing that was in my life because I think when you're in high school, that kind of is the biggest thing in your life because you're not really focusing too much on your career because you're like 17 and you're growing. You're a growing kid, so guess what all you can think about is dating and everything included in that. So I definitely was one of those people who got obsessed with a boy and was obsessed with the boy for almost my entire high school career, which is a shame that I have to say that, but it's true. And you know what? I think everyone obviously goes through it, so I don't feel too embarrassed. But, so I guess I have to keep that in mind with Lara Jean, but like, oh my God, at the same time, I'm just like, girly, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. If you don't stay together with this boy, you might just date another one. Like, there are more boys in this lifetime that you can find and that you can date. And I guess, like, that is kind of the obviously more realistic side of me coming out because if I was my hopeless romantic, it'd be like, no, but they're made for each other. But I don't really like them. I don't really think they are made for each other. I think they were made for each other in the first movie. I think they were super great. And I loved the whole, like, let's pretend we're not dating, or let's pretend we're dating but we don't actually have feelings for each other, but then we fall in love. I love that trope. One of my favorite tropes. But once we met John Ambrose, I was like, done. Peter Kavinsky, out. They didn't have as much in common. He was being shady. John Ambrose was so much better. They, like, had the same passions. And, like, I'm not saying you obviously have to have the same passions with your partner, but, like, it helps. It's, like, cool. Okay, anyway. So Lara Jean is annoying. She's annoying throughout this entire movie. But anyway, here's a big annoying thing. So Lara Jean now has to tell Peter that she didn't get into Stanford. How is she going to do it? You know, she's so nervous. And she's, like, texting him because he's like, oh, did you get in? And so she's, like, about to text him, but then her sister texted her at the same time being like, hey, are we cool from that fight that we had earlier? Because they had a fight. And I honestly cannot even remember what the fight was because it was stupid. Oh, now I remember. Lara Jean kept being like, I have to go to Stanford. I have to go to Stanford. And her sister was like, okay, but, like, what if you get into NYU? Because I know you applied and that would be cool. And Lara Jean's like, well, I don't want to be far away from my family, unlike some people. And then her sister got pissed. Anyway, so the sister was like, hey, are we cool? And so Lara Jean's like, of course we are. Love you. And sends it. She actually ends up sending that to Peter Kavinsky. Basically, he was like, did you get in? And she's like, of course, love you. So classic. We knew this was going to happen, that she now has to tell him that she lied. And, well, I guess she didn't lie, but, that was a mistake. She didn't actually get in. Great. But another classic movie trope is that she doesn't tell him right away. Ooh. Because, of course, Peter Kavinsky is so excited that they're going to go to the same school and they're going to have the same life together forever. And she's like, great, how do I break it to him? So she actually waits to tell him until she gets into Berkeley, because then it's only an hour away and they won't be going to the same colleges, but it's not that big of a deal, So great. So when she does tell Peter that, Peter's like, oh, damn, that sucks. But you know what? You can just transfer to Stanford after, freshman year. And she's like, oh my God, great idea. I just want to say, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Just, oh, hey, you just have to go to this school with me. There's literally no way around it. Even if we're an hour apart, that's not going to be enough for me. You need to transfer after your freshman year. That's so fucking annoying. Like, I'm getting more and more annoyed at Peter Kavinsky. Like, what? Dude, you can't just, it's, ugh. He just clearly does not care about anything that she wants to do with her life. Because I guess he's just like, he has to go to Stanford. I think he's going on, a lacrosse scholarship or something. So fine, whatever. If you really want to go to Stanford, awesome. But why are you forcing your girlfriend to then believe that she also wants to go to Stanford? Ew. And for some reason, no one thought that was bad until later on in the movie. And I'm like, hello, red flag immediately. Can you tell that I don't like Peter? Anyway, so Peter, because I have another little note saying Peter is cringe in all caps. Yeah, he is so creepy and weird in this movie. Like I was saying before, he has weird facial expressions. He is just, I can't even get into it. I just don't like him. Okay, so, once they figured out that she can transfer after a year, they're ecstatic. They're like, oh my God, thank God. Everything's fine, and I'm so happy for this. Well, I forgot to, I guess I forgot to mention, she told Peter this when they were in New York. Because I guess for a class trip in high school, they went to New York. They didn't even say what they were doing on the trip. They just all got to go to New York, which is insane. What kind of school is this? This is also, I forgot about this, but this story is taking place, in Oregon. So, what Oregon high school is just hey, seniors, time to go to New York? You know what? I think they did that on Glee, though, too. Maybe that's a thing. Okay, well, I didn't get to do that, so I guess I'm a little bummed. But anyway, so they were in New York when she tells him, and they make up their new idea of she'll transfer in a year. So while they're in New York, they get set out into these separate groups where they get to, the school kind of sets them up by their name alphabetically or whatever. So, oh no, Laura Jean and Peter are in the same group. Oh my God. You just have to explore New York, with friends instead. But, they have to be texting the entire time. They're literally oh my God, we don't get to be in the same group. And so they text and they send pictures the entire day. Even though Laura Jean's with her best friend and Peter's with his best friend, and they get to explore New York. And you know what they could do is just meet up afterwards, because they all are going to be at the same hotel, and then just talk about the stuff they saw and be like, wow, that was cool, right? Instant solving. Let's take a little rant pause. I cannot stand couples that are that codependent. And this is even disregarding all of the we have to go to the same college bullshit, but having to be constantly texting or calling or talking to or being with your partner is just too much. And maybe that's just a me thing. But also, let me tell ya, I don't think it's that healthy to be that codependent to your partner. I just don't think it is. And so if you find yourself not even going one day without talking to your partner, that just seems weird to me. And I don't mean if you're married, because that's obviously a completely different story. I mean like you're just dating. Like you're literally just dating. And maybe one day you go hang out with your friends. And then you just see him the next day. Like, I'm like getting angry for no reason. But that just bugs me. That's so annoying. Like, be your own person. And see them tomorrow, you know? Because I'm thinking about, like, with my friends. I'm not texting my friends every day. In fact, I don't even really have one friend that I text every single day. Maybe we'll text every other day or text like a good amount, but like I'm not texting someone every single day, and I'm not calling someone every single day, and I'm obviously not seeing someone every single day. So it's like, but I feel fine. You know, I still have a great relationship, love all my friends. It's amazing. And I know that relationships are different, but like, how different really are they? Like, you can still go a day without talking to them. Nothing is really going to happen in that time frame that you need to tell them something. Like, what do you even talk about at that point? Okay. I'm getting too off the rails, but I just want to say that they're annoying. And that scene, while they had to talk to each other in New York, and they were just like, oh, I miss you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss you all day. I wanted to pluck my eyes out. But anyway, so while Laura Jean and her friend, who I forget the name of, while they were in New York, they were, they like stumbled across NYU, which I don't know how they stumble across that, but they do. And the mean girl, Jen, got into NYU, and she's like, oh yeah, I got into NYU, and I'm really excited. And did you apply, Laura Jean? And she's like, oh yeah, like I did. I don't know if I've gotten in yet, but doesn't matter because I'm going to Berkeley. And she's like, oh, okay. And so Jen is like, oh, hey, this is my senior shadow, you know, because she's just like shadowing a senior in college. And the senior is like, oh, hey, guys, do you want to go to a party? Oh, hey, 17-year-olds, do you want to go to a college party? Hey, I'm 22 and you're 17. Want to go to a college party? I'm sorry, but that is never going to happen. There is no way that has ever happened, ever. I even wrote in this, senior in college is taking a high school shadow to a party. Yeah, right. I can't even imagine, like, when I was a senior 6 months ago, taking a 17-year-old to a college party. First of all, I didn't like any college parties. I would mostly go to a bar. And so, one, can't even take a 17-year-old into a bar. Literally, they're not allowed. And let's say I did like college parties and we went to a party, I still wouldn't take a 17-year-old. I'm just going to say, if college parties are not that great, taking a 17-year-old would definitely not make it any better. It would definitely make it pretty bad. So that was funny. That was a funny little moment that they decided to believe was real. Another thing that they did was that this party was like the coolest party in the world. It was a rooftop party with a band who later, spoiler, Laura Jean gets this song like on her iPod, which I'm assuming means that they're like on Spotify or Apple Music, which means they're a legit band, which means this college party had an actual legit band playing at this rooftop party. No. Also, none of the 17-year-olds even drank. No. Also not true. It's just, I don't know what these movies are doing, but they kind of give this weird, wholesome vibe. And maybe I'm just too old to be watching these now. Like, I think now I'm starting to be like, okay, these aren't made for me. Like, this is made for a cute, wholesome little high schooler, which is fine. I think high school me would have loved this. She would have been like, yeah. I mean, I think I still would have been like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But I would have been way more into the love thing. And I would have been like, oh yeah, they're made for each other and I love them. So yeah, maybe you should only watch this if you're 17. Maybe that'll be better for you. But anyway, so there was a lot of weird things during this. But you can kind of tell throughout this entire scene that Laura Jean is starting to fall in love with NYU and with New York. And because she's hanging out with her friends and they're having a great time. And she's like, wow, I like it here. Which means, uh-oh. And Peter can already tell that something is shifting because Laura Jean, comes back and she's so excited. And she's like telling him about all this stuff that she did. And he's just like, okay, cool. Like, he can tell. Like, everyone can see what's going on. So, okay, this is this is very random, but there's a scene where Laura Jean and Peter go bowling together. And this is the scene that I have seen over and over and over again on my TikTok. And it is so unbelievably cringy and weird. Like, I don't know who this director is, but he's weird. And I don't trust him because he made Peter look so gross. But also, it could be Noah Centineo being like, hey, dude, I should do this. And the the director's just like, yeah, okay. He just like makes a lot of weird faces and dances. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, honestly, look up on TikTok. I bet you could literally just put in Noah Centineo and it'll pop up, or look on YouTube or something. Like, you'll find it and you're going to be like, oh, yikes. So that happened. But then, fast forward, Laura Jean gets into NYU. Oh, holy crap. What's going to happen now? And so, of course, like I said, she was already kind of feeling like, oh, she's kind of liking NYU. That's interesting. Oh, but she's already going to Berkeley, right? Yeah. No, she decides that she actually wants to go to NYU immediately. Like, she completely made up her mind. Doesn't even do a pros and cons list, which is fine. No worries. It's just the way that they go throughout this movie is that sometimes I feel like, I don't know, like we don't get any background on what's really going on in her mind because she made that decision so fast. And even when she was at NYU, she fell in love with it so fast. And let me just say, I didn't fall in love with my college that fast. I mean, like when I visited Western, I definitely was like, oh yeah, like I can see myself here. Like I like it. But I made my pros and cons list, like I did all the research. I calculated all the monies. Like, this wasn't I really like it. I think I'm going to go there and I'm going to go there. Okay, I'm going there. Like, I guess go off, but damn. So, she decides she's going to NYU. And so she tells Peter, and Peter's just like, oh, okay. Interesting. Didn't know that was going to happen. And, at the time, he seems like, okay, but Laura Jean is starting to notice that he's acting more and more distant, and it's getting awkward. And so prom night, happens, and they go to prom, and Laura Jean the whole time is like, ugh, like Peter's being really distant, and I need to try and fix this. So let's just take a little guess on what she does to try and fix it. How would a 17-year-old fix her high school relationship on prom night? Yeah, she tries to have sex with him. This is also like she hasn't had sex yet. They haven't had sex, which is fine. She's 17, whatever. I feel like they have been dating a while, though, so that's interesting. But, very cliche, gotta lose your virginity on prom night. And also very cliche, well, not even cliche, just sad, but has to make the guy happy, so I must sleep with him. Bad. And even Peter's like, whoa, like, why all of a sudden now do you want to sleep with me? Like, we could have slept together a long time ago. And she was like, oh, well, you've been distant, so I wanted to be close to you. Which is like, ew, what? Why would you say that? Ew. And he's like, he even was like, ew, what? Like, you want to sleep with me because you're feeling insecure? Which is like, oh my God, just yike-a-rooney. And she's like, no, I didn't mean it, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, obviously, you think we're going to break up. So you're trying to save this, like, you know, you're trying to make it memorable by having sex on prom night. She also, like, gave him this box of, like, all these pictures and notes that they shared together. And she was like, something to remember us by, which definitely sounds like a, hey, see you later, like, bye. And so he's like, you want to break up. Like, obviously, like, you think that we're going to break up, so let's just do it now. And Laura's like, no. But they end up breaking up, which I wasn't too surprised about because, again, we have to have some kind of conflict in this movie. So they broke up. So sad. Terrible. How will they ever get back together? Don't worry. Literally my next point is, because I have tries to have sex on prom night, ends up breaking up. Next bullet. They get back together. Barf. Yeah, so they get back together pretty soon. I feel like it's probably like a few days that they were broken up. Because the dad gets married and Peter's not at the wedding, and they're all like, oh, I'm sad, Peter's not at the wedding. But then that night, like after the wedding, Peter shows up and apologizes and is like, you should go to NYU. I don't want to hold you back. We're going to be together forever, always and forever. You know, name of the movie. Always and forever, we're going to be together. So 4 years of college not being in the same city, that's fine, because we're going to be together forever. Anyway, you get it. So they get back together, and they're going to be together forever. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. Like, literally at the end, they do their little graduation, and they graduate, and Laura Jean's, like, narrating, and she's like, I don't know what'll happen, but, like, we are in love, and we're going to make it work. And it's just like, let me tell you right now, and I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I do think it is, but at the same time, I think you should go into college single. You should not have your high school boyfriend or girlfriend holding you back from, you know, living your life. And another great thing about being single in college is that you can really experience college, because now, of course, I'm really talking from experience of my friends, because I was single going into college. And again, thank God, but I wasn't like, I didn't break up with someone to go to college. I just was single the entire time. So my friends who did go into college with a boyfriend, they eventually broke up, and they're like, yeah, it would have been nice to not have had that relationship the first few years of college, because it's like, you really miss out because you're spending all that time talking to that person, because you're having to do the long distance. So you're FaceTiming or doing whatever. If it's a bad relationship, you know, they get mad at you if you do something without them or whatever. If it's an okay relationship, they're still like, you know, feeling FOMO if they're not around. Because, I mean, imagine you're dating someone and they're off hanging out with all these new friends and going to parties and hanging out with new people, and you don't get to see them. I mean, like, it's just, you're too young to even focus on those kind of problems, if that makes sense. Like, you're literally, the point of going to college is to have fun and focus on your next step, which is like your future. Like, you're starting to figure out what you want to do with your life. And so, like, do you really want to do, or do you really want to, like, think about your future, and you're thinking about this guy or girl that you dated when you were like 15? Like, you're barely functioning. Like, you don't know anything about anything when you're in high school. And you honestly barely know anything about anything when you're in college. Like, I still feel like I don't know a lot of things. And so I just can't really imagine thinking that my whole future is laying in this 17-year-old boy. I just can't. That's just not something I can wrap my mind around. And maybe that's obviously just a personal thing. Whatever. But a little tip. even though I think most of the people who are listening to this are not in college anymore. But a little tip, don't go in, oh my gosh, go into college single is my best bet. If you don't and everything works out and you're totally fine and you're with that person for the rest of your life, congrats, good job, good on you, because some couples can do it and it works. But I just don't think all of them do, and I don't think Peter Kavinsky or Laura Jean are gonna make it. Are they a fictional characters? Yes, but I just think they're annoying, and I think they're way too codependent, and I don't think codependent relationships really last that long. They probably last for a few years, but then you start to morph into one blob, and then you don't know how to handle your life when you do break up, and that's not a good sign at all. You should be able to live your own life if you break up with somebody, because in the end, it's really just going to be you. And so do you really want to just be a morph of a blob with someone else and you might not be with them for the rest of your life? No. So anyway, that was To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Always and Forever, the third movie. And I would give it a 5 out of 10 because at the same time, I kind of liked it. As I went on and on and on about how much I hated it. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it's like your classic cheesy movie. If I were to rank all of them, I would say the first movie is like an 8.5 because that movie's really good, but it is cheesy. And then the second movie would probably either be like a 6.5 or a 7. And then the last one is a 5 out of 10 because it's just too mushy, and I don't think I can get that mushy. It's just not fun anymore. Because I love me some love. I really do, but that wasn't it. I wasn't into it. But anyway, that's the end of the whole entire series. So I guess we'll never get another movie with Peter Kavinsky ever again. Doesn't mean we won't get any more movies with Noah Centineo, though. Unfortunately. I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently he's supposed to be in a movie about GameStop and the stocks and stuff. If that actually comes true, I have no faith in the arts anymore. Because I really enjoy movies. I mean, movies are one of my favorite things in this world. And acting is so cool. I could never be an actor, and that's not even something that I would want to do. But, like, being an actor, like, that is, you have to be super talented. I guess I shouldn't even say you have to, because Peter Kavinsky, Noah Centineo is an actor, and he's not good. So, nowadays, it just seems like we're getting worse and worse into movies. Oh, and it makes me sad. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. I really like watching movies for my homework and then writing about them and then talking about them. So I'm excited to do another one. I would love if any of you guys had any suggestions on a movie that you would like me to talk about. Leave a comment on my podcast Instagram or leave a review and let me know what movie you would want me to review. It could be any movie, either a movie that I've seen or a movie that I haven't, and I would be ecstatic to talk all about it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys have a great week, because guess what? It's the beginning of March. We love to see it. Okay, and I'll talk to you guys next week in a brand new episode. Bye!